Hello everyone, and welcome to the next installment in our Minecraft series. Now, if you caught up on the last video, we finished building our underwater base in terms of getting it all hollowed out and ready for the interior design. And in this episode, what we end up doing is fully submersing our base, and that's what we're doing right off the top here, is we take out all of the sand that's around the structure that we used to fully build that base. We've got to get things cleared out as well on the inside, as it's still quite full of sand. So once we've got all of the sand taken off and the dirt bridge that we used to start building that base, we are actually able to come down underground, set up a couple of lights in this tunnel here, and then go ahead and take on the task of clearing out the sand, which is actually pretty easy because most of the sand that we'll be taking down, we can just let gravity do the work, as glass is a hard enough substance that as sand falls down from a block of 1 or higher, it will just kind of automatically destruct and collect in nice neat piles for us to sweep up and convert into cut sandstone for the rest of the interior decoration here. Now, once we've got all of the side areas in the first section taken care of, we need to dig our way back to the second half and start doing a lot of the same work there. But as soon as we've got our building to the back portion of our area here, we can do the exact same thing, just a very much of a rinse and repeat sequence from what we saw previously with the first two sections. And it really makes cleaning up the inside of this base a lot easier and a lot more smooth than it could have been otherwise if we needed to dig them out all one by one. Now, once we've got the entire inside of the base finished, we've just got to take out the remainder of the sand and the gravel that built up the main cross frame structure, as that does not destruct as easily as the rest of the building did. But as soon as we've got that taken care of, we can go ahead and fully light the inside here just to prevent any monsters from spawning inside, because that's not exactly what you want inside your house. And we've got a mostly dry interior, and I say mostly dry because you can kind of see some water droplets that are dipping in from the top. Now we head back to our little hole in the wall cave where we convert all of our sandstone, or our sand, into sandstone, and then our sandstone into cut sandstone, because I like the aesthetic of that a lot better. Now, there's not an option for cut sandstone steps, so we do have to make some just regular sandstone steps here, but we only need a couple of these to transverse from the first level to the second level, and then again from the second level to the third level of our underground base here. Now, a nice little block of cut sandstone makes our corner piece here quite nice, and with one more set of stairs, we are on to our second level. And this is what honestly took the most time for me, was blocking out the interior of the structure, mainly because I didn't want to dip down to the lower level too frequently. But you also needed to do some trial and error to figure out exactly what spacing you needed in your corners where you've got your stairs. But it really goes pretty smoothly once you figure it out, and it's just a matter of being cautious around those edges, crouching so you don't accidentally fall down onto the lower level without actually wanting to. And this does fairly well in terms of clearing out not only the first story, but also the second story as well. Now, I did go ahead and prioritize getting the full second story floor finished out because I didn't want to run any risk of working on that third story floor accidentally falling all the way down to the bottom level. So once we have that second story finished out, we do go ahead and finish out the top level as well. And yeah, it's a tedious task to undertake for sure, but I'm very pleased with the way that this underwater base is finishing out. So as we tail out of the last little pieces of this floor decor here, we have the full floor furnished, and it just looks so great, and I'm very proud with how this turned out. Now, I was a little bit perturbed by the water leaking, and yeah, it's just an aesthetic thing. It doesn't really mean that my ceiling is going to cave in, but I figured the best way to go ahead and fix that was going to be making more glass to put on as a top cap. So of course we go out and we get some more sand, and then we come back home to our furnace to cook up some of that sand into glass, and that will allow us to place a secondary layer on our top ceiling to prevent any unnecessary leaking or any aesthetic that isn't so pleasing. And this is pretty easy, as it doesn't involve the same amount of diving as the previous projects did in getting this home fully set up underwater. So we do go through and get our border set up for our second level, and we do have to resurface for air every now and again, but it goes a lot quicker than a lot of the previous steps that we'd had from the main undertaking of the underwater construction. But I thought that 2 stacks of glass was going to be enough, and it didn't even come close to fully meeting the necessity of what we needed to layer the second level of glass there. So while I'm waiting for more glass to cook up, I do go back down to my mine, and I'm thrilled to find that there is a slime that is spawned down here, because that actually goes with the idea for an entrance that I had, because you need slime to construct some sticky pistons. And it just so happens that as I kill this slime, it does end up dropping 4 of these slime orbs, which is exactly what I need in order to build the sticky pistons for an automated entrance. And that is beyond excellent, because it means that we can not only finish the underwater furnishing here, but we can also go ahead and fully automate our entrance to our fort as well, which we'll do in just a minute after we have the rest of the ceiling patched out here. And with a bit more tender care and spacing on the glass here at the top, we've got plenty of glass this time around to fully cap off our ceiling, prevent any leaks from continuing to happen on the underside, and we've even got more glass left over to do the same for our underground tunnel, as there's some leaking that happens there where it's exposed to water as well. So now that we've got our sticky pistons created, we do go ahead and start building a redstone apparatus, which is highly useful for not only allowing ease of access to your home by not having to hit a button every time or hit the door every time you enter and exit, but it also allows you to have solitary access, as it is impervious to monsters, which is quite nice. So we go ahead and get our base of redstone set up down there. It's a 3x2 grid. You then need to make a couple of branches off of that structure using redstone, 2 over to each side in the middle and lining the floor to that point. You can then go ahead and place your redstone torches down on that last and upper block, as that will allow you to fully activate and control those redstone or not those redstones, but those sticky pistons and the custom doors as well. Now once we've got the main redstone framework done, we can go ahead and cover up the interworkings of this lower level using our block of our choice. And since I really am going for the full beachfront property and themed home, I do choose to outfit my entry to my home with this cut sandstone as well, which just kind of makes things look super polished and really nice looking when all is said and done. Now that we've got our framework set up, we can go ahead and put in our sticky pistons. We'll need 2 on either side, and you'll see that as soon as we get the first one placed here, we do have it activate basically immediately because of the way we have our redstone set up. You will need to place a redstone on top of those end blocks to have it activate with the top portion of that piston as well. Now, I really wanted to have a glass style door, so we set glass to the end of each of those sticky pistons, place a couple of wood blocks or wood pressure plates down there on the ground. I would have liked to have had stone, but we can go through and change that out at a later date once we have formed some stone pressure plates. Now, as you see, I continue through here. I do want to go ahead and completely encase the sticky piston mechanism in some sandstone, and I do go ahead and build an outer shell so we are completely surrounded and have a nice little entryway where we walk through this set of double doors and then take an immediate right, which will lead us down our staircase into the entrance to our actual underground lair. And I'm really happy with the way that this base has come together. I think it is by far one of the best, no, without question, it's one of the best homes that I've ever built. And we do go ahead and furnish the full stairway on both sides with that cut sandstone as well, because it does allow us just to have a really neat looking entryway that's calm, collected, and looks really great. So at this point, we've got everything set for our underwater base here, and the last thing that's left for us to do is go ahead and take care of the furnishings, which we will go ahead and initiate in our episode next week. So if you're enjoying the series, please feel free to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, as I am bringing videos to you daily, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.